linear. I like to look at it as even circular or going through a roller coaster of emotions. So we'll walk through the stages. So denial can be one, right? Finding out that your loved one is no longer here and being in shock or disbelief and not believing that this is actually it, right? And it's also very normal because it gives our brain time to actually adjust, especially when you're thinking of a sudden loss, right? So denial is one stage, and it's very normal to go through that.
You really have to reserve judgment when someone is going through it, because they're going through it the way they need to go through it.
Absolutely. Sometimes it comes with anger.
Yes.
Right? You're angry. Are you angry with yourself? Thinking about regrets or guilt, right? So anger is another really strong, intense emotions that, those who are grieving also deal with. And like you said, it can be cyclical, right? Because today you feel joy, tomorrow you're angry. Sometimes when that happens, you may feel like you're regressing, but it's normal. Think of it as, again, a roller coaster. Yeah. Right? And then we also deal with bargaining, right? Sometimes if you're religious, you may ask God, why is this happening? Yes. Right? If I do this, then you'll bring my loved one back.
Right.
Right? So again, keeping in mind that someone may not go through bargaining. It does not mean that they're not going through the stages of grief. It just looks different for them.
Depression is another one, which makes a lot of sense to people. So what does this look like?
So depression, you may not even go through depression, right? Yeah. Because when we think about it, depression, looking at the clinical diagnosis of depression, you may go through loneliness, sadness, and all these strong emotions, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're depressed, right?
Right.
However, you may have depressive symptoms, and some will be clinically depressed as a result. So again, remembering that it looks different for each and every single person.
Okay. Acceptance. What does acceptance look like? And you say acceptance is not necessarily the end.
It is not the end. So acceptance just means that you've accepted what happens. You not even understand, you accepted it. This is what's happened, and you're trying to make meaning of what that means for you. And that could look different for everyone.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to talk about loneliness. Satnam mentioned just the absence of Mandeep. It leaves her feeling lonely. What can folks do about this if they are missing a loved one? What can they do about their loneliness?
It's hard because when you think about sadness, it's easy to think I need to elicit the opposite emotion. But when you're feeling lonely because you have a loss, what do you do with that? Right? And so it's really important to understand that there's normalcy in that, because if you're a mother and your son is gone, what does that mean for your role as a mom? Right? And so it's really difficult. So creating a ritual would be really important. And on your day-to-day, what are some things that you can do? What can you do to honor that child or that loved one, right? So creating a routine would be really helpful. And also, if you find that you're stuck in that feeling of loneliness and it's really intense, seek support. You can reach out to a therapist or a grief counselor to help you get through and process that.
I love a lot of the tools that you gave her, even the mindful walk and being really reflective about what she's doing. And I learned a lot sort of from what you talked to her about, honoring the present, honoring the past, making space to grieve. It's something that I would have never thought of, but you put it in your day.
Absolutely.
Because this is not going anywhere, it's your life now.
Yeah.
So the fact that you told her to do that, I think all of it counts for validation. And that's something that Satnam said to us, that it is nice to be in this space and have people validate even the devastating loss of all of this, but she feels that she's validated by having you and the rest of us as part of